In this video, we will see about some properties of mean and variance and how we can apply them to problem and make the problem very easy. So we will quickly move on to the properties. Property number 1 says expected value of a constant is constant. Okay, so what is going to be C? C is a constant. So whenever we have something like expected, what is going to be the expected value of 5? So what will be the answer for it? The outcome will be the same 5. Property number 2, expected value of a times x, where a is going to be a constant and what is our x? X is going to be our random variable. So what will be the property E of ax? A being a constant will not be affected by the expectation, and so the expectation will be applied only for the random variable x. So you have it as a times E of x. So like example, what will be E of 3x? E of 3x will be 3 times E of x. Property number 3, when we have expected value of ax plus b. So what will this now be equal to when a and b are going to be constants and x is going to be your random variable? Then we have a into e of x for the first term, and for the second term you will have e of b. B is a constant, and what do you know about e of b? E of b is the same as b. So say for example, what is going to be 2x plus 7. So this will be 2 times expected value of x plus 7. Next quantity number 4, property number 4 says variance of a constant is always equal to 0. Why it is so? Because we know that variance of x is e of x square minus e of x the whole square. So when you input an x to be a constant, so what will be e of c square? E of c square will be the same c square. And what will be e of c the whole square? It will be again c square. So c square minus c square, this will give me equal to 0. So variance of a constant is always equal to 0. Property number 5, which says variance of a times x, where a is going to be the constant and x your random variable, is given by a square times variance of x. So what happens over here? The constant a gets squared because of this part, and so you have a square times variance of x. Be careful about it. It gets squared when it gets outside the variance. And property number 6, what can you say about variance of ax plus b? So now this will be, for the first term variance of ax, you can write it as a square times variance of x. And for the second part, variance of b, what will be variance of b? B is a constant. Variance of a constant is 0. So this will be the same, a square times variance of x. So we have 6 major properties over here. We will try to incorporate all these things to a problem and see how it can be resolved easily. So we move on into the problem. Problem number 1. If x is going to be a discrete random variable that takes the value -1, 0, 1, 2 with the corresponding probability of x being 0.3, 0.1, 0.4 and 0.2. Now find the following. Number A, the value for the mean or e of x. E of x is also called by the name mean. Number 2, find variance of x. Number 3, find e of 2x plus 1. And number 4, find variance of 2x plus 1. So we will make use of the property which we learned just now to estimate all these following. So moving on to the first one, what is going to be the first one? E of x. What is e of x? The mean of the random variable. What type of random variable are we dealing with? it is point values, so you call it as discrete random variable. So for a discrete random variable, it is given by summation x into probability of x, or xi into probability of xi. Summation xi into probability of xi. So what you'll have to do, take your x, multiply it with the corresponding probability of x, minus 1 into 0.3, plus what is the second term, 0 into 0.1, 0 into 0.1, plus what is the third probability, 1 into 0.4, 1 into 0.4, and what is the fourth term, 2 into 0.2, 2 into 0.2. So what this gives you, minus 0.3, this will vanish, 1 into 0.4 is 0.4, 2 2s are 4, so again this is going to be 0.4. So this is going to be 0.4 plus 0.4, 0.8, 8, and then it is going to be equal to minus 0.3. So what you will be having over here is, so this will be minus 0.3 plus 0.8, 8 minus 0.3 will be equal to positive 0.5. You can keep in mind, mean can be positive, negative, 0, whatever be it. Okay, mean can take both positive as well as negative values as well as 0. So we have estimated the first quantity, which is going to be mean. Let us move on to estimate the second quantity, variance of x. How to get your variance of x? Variance of x is given by the formula e of x square minus e of x the whole square. Now this e of x has been already arrived at, so what we require is going to be e of x square. Now how to get this e of x square? E of x square is given by the formula summation x square into probability of x. So now let us apply this to the given quantity. So we move on to the next slide. So what are the values taken by x? X takes the value minus 1, 0, 1, 2, and what are going to be the probability of x? 0.3, 0.1, 0.4, 0.2. Now what we require is going to be e of x square, which is summation x square into probability of x. So square this and multiply with it. So this will be equal to minus 1 the whole square into 0.3. What is the second term? Square this and multiply with it. So 0 square into 0.1. The next term, square this, multiply with it. So it is going to be 1 square into 0.4. And what is going to be the next one? Square this and then multiply with it. So it is going to be 2 square into 0.2. So finally we will have it as minus 1 the whole square is 1. 1 into 0.3 will be 0.3. 0 into something is going to vanish. 1 square is 1. 1 into 0.4 will be 0.4, and so the next term will be 2 square is going to be 4. 4 into 0.2. 4 into 0.2, this is going to be 0.8, 0.4, 0.12, and 13, 14, 15. So this makes it as 1.5. So the next stage is what we want in the question is variance of x. What is variance of x? E of x square minus e of x the whole square. So now this gives us 1.5 minus, what was our e of x previously? So this is going to be equal to 0.5. So next one, so this is going to be 0.5 the whole square. So now we have this as 1.5 minus 0.5 the whole square. So that makes it finally as 1.25. Okay, so we have completed 2 subdivisions. We now move on to the third subdivision. So what was the third subdivision? Expected value of 2x plus 1. Okay, so what is going to be expected value of 2x plus 1. Now recollect the property. What is going to be e of ax plus b? What will be e of ax plus b? It is a times e of x plus b. So this is going to be e of 2x plus e of 1. So what is e of 2x? 2 times e of x plus e of 1 is 1 equal to 2 times, what is going to be e of x? E of x was already estimated in our prior stage. E of x was estimated as 0.5. Just merely substitute this. This is going to be 0.5 plus 1. 2 into 0.5 plus 1. 2 into 0.5 is going to be 1. 1 plus 1 makes this as 2. So E of 2x plus 1 is going to be equal to 2. Now moving on to the last problem. Last subdivision is variance of 2x plus 1. So what is going to be variance of 2x plus 1? Again, recollect the formula for properties. So what is going to be the property? Variance of ax plus b is equal to a square times variance of x. What will happen to this b? Variance of a constant is 0. So you will have 2 square times variance of x. And what is variance of 1? Variance of 1 is going to be equal to 0. What is 2 square? It is 4. 4 times of variance of x. What is variance of x? This is going to be 1.25. So what will be 4 times of 1.25? This will make it as 5. So what is variance of 2x plus 1? This gives the final value as 5. That's it, children. See how the property has made our task very easy for us to estimate all these values.